And now we're going to do our homemade garlic mashed potatoes. Okay, so we're just using regular russet potatoes. And I like to run a little bit of water on them first before I start peeling. So, get your potato peel and just go ahead and get to peeling them. I'm going to remove all the skin, turn that down, make it cool, and then we're just going to put those potatoes in the water and let it just rinse. We're going to turn our fire on, and we're just going to let that start to boil. What we're going to do is we're going to add a half a stick of butter and a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. I like Himalayan pink salt because it doesn't over season the food, because sometimes salt can be very salty. But with pink Himalayan salt, it's more of a natural salt, so it actually enhances the flavor of whatever it is that you're adding to it without over seasoning. So as you see, we're going to peel each potato while our water is getting hot. And once we're done with this, we will cut these into cubes, and I will show you that procedure after all of the potatoes are peeled. Now we added our butter, and we added about 5 tablespoons, and I cut it into different pieces because it just melts a little bit better this way. So you just let that melt into your water. You take a little pink Himalayan salt, and you add a little drizzle of that right on top. So we have already cut our potatoes. So now we're going to cut those into cubes. So we have about 10 medium-sized potatoes. And we're going to do 1 chop in the middle, 2 on the end. Take your colander, scoop those right in there because those are going to be rinsed again. Depending on the size of the potato is depending on how many times you're going to chop it. 1, 2. Some of the smaller ones you may only have to do once. This one is not a big one, so we're only going to chop that once because we don't want really small pieces. Even though they're going to be mashed, you still want it to have a nice consistency. 1, 2. Straight down the middle. 1, 2. We can start running our water on that because we want all of the starch to drain off of there. Another cut. 1, 2. This is 1 chop. That's about 10 potatoes that I have cut. So that should make enough mashed potatoes to feed roughly between 3 to 4 people. So we let the water kind of drain that. And I think I'm going to add 1 more potato. So we're going to just, this is a small potato, so this is just going to be 1 chop. I want to make sure that everyone gets a nice hearty portion of our delicious garlic mashed potatoes. So again, 1 chop down the middle, 1 chop. Rinse that, let the water drain on there. Then we're going to add that to our water. So it doesn't take long for potatoes. So they're actually ready. And the water doesn't have to be boiling to add them. You can see it's already melting the butter, which means it's hot. So we're going to go in and we're just going to add our potatoes. Just make sure we get each potato in there. And we'll let these cook roughly on a medium fire for maybe about 20 minutes. They should have a nice consistency to them. And you know they're ready to turn into mash when you can actually stick your knife or fork straight through the potato and it doesn't stick to the fork or the knife that you're using. So once your potato is ready for mashing, then you stick it stick it through the potato, and if it goes all the way through and it breaks off a little piece, then you know that they're ready. So while those Okay, so now what we're doing, we're checking our consistency of our potatoes. So, as you can see, what you see on the top of this is the butter that has risen all the way to the top and is going to bake right down into the potatoes. Now, usually, you know, when potatoes are not close to being ready, it's very hard to poke them. As you can see, that those are becoming now easy to get your tool inside of it, but then you'll know that it's almost ready. What I usually like to do is use my cutting board, and I go right in and I try to slice it. This is a little bit still has firm to it, so we know that that's not ready yet. So we take these two pieces and we put that back into the water. So now our process should only take an additional maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and they should be ready to mash. So at this stage, as you see, your butter is floating on top. Your potatoes can be cut with your fork or whatever tool that you're using. So that lets you know how much more time you're going to need before you're able to mash. So like I said, we got about another 10, possibly 15, a little bit less, and they should be ready to mash. So stay tuned for the final product of our garlic mashed potatoes. We have checked our consistency of our mashed potatoes, and now they're ready to mash. So we're going to take these and we're going to come over here. How many of you know what this is? I'll wait. Post me a comment. Let me know if you know what that is. Some people don't know what that is. I'm from the old school people. So we have drained our potato. You don't want to drain all of the water out because that could be used as a liquid. So now we're going to put that back on the fire. And I'm going to use almond milk for this one. This is just something I get at our local store. And it's just an original almond milk. I really don't like to use dairy milk. I've gotten out of a lot of dairy. So I use alternatives. And almond milk gives it just a good of a richness and flavor. So we're going to do 1-2 tablespoons of butter. So you can open that and you just slice that right in. 2 tablespoons of butter. You add that right in there. We're just going to add a little bit of the almond milk. That's about 1/4 of a cup. And we're going to add just a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. I mean, just a very little. And our garlic powder. And our garlic powder, we're probably just going to add about 2 tablespoons. I've been cooking for a while, so I can kind of eyeball. But if you have to, you can measure. You go in. Okay, so we added another 1/4 cup of butter. And this is a good consistency, but you don't want it too thick. So I'm going to add probably another couple tablespoons. And just a little bit more butter. Just 1 tablespoon of butter. Just add that in. We're going to remove our masher. And we're going to use our spoon now. You can see I have some juice in there, so that's what I want. We want to go around, bottom, top. 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 Okay, now our meal is complete. This is Erricka's spin on our dinner for today, which is our garlic mashed potatoes, which we made homemade. This is a store-bought roasted chicken, which we added our spin, which was our cream of chicken soup, our nacho cheese soup, and our cream of celery soup. Put it in the oven, baked it for about 40 minutes, covered for the last interval, uncovered for the first interval of 20 minutes. Then this is our mixture of kale and mustard greens with our garnish of beefsteak, tomato, and onion. I hope this is what a great dinner will bring to you, would look like when you create your own. And thank you for tuning in, YouTube family. I'm telling you, to die for.